Begin today the Gemara on the bottom of Daf Samach Amud Beis, where last few words of the last line, V'loi biyachid bizman she'ein beragloi makeh. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to walk out with one shoe, but that's only if you don't have a wound on your foot. If there is a wound on your foot, you could walk out with one shoe. So the Gemara explains the pshat in this inyan in the Mishnah here. Sagt the Gemara, so it's clear from the Mishnah that if a person does have a wound on his foot, nafik, he's allowed to go out. He's allowed to go out with one shoe. B'hai minayu nafik. So the question is, with which shoe does he go out? Does he put the shoe on that foot that he has the wound, or we're talking about a case where he puts the shoe on the foot that he does not have the wound? So the Gemara brings two options, two opinions here. Rav Hona says, Ba'oisa sheyesh ba makeh. He places the shoe on the foot that has a wound, right? To protect himself, to protect the wound, that he should not get hurt by anything that he's walking on the ground. So people that see that he's wearing one shoe and they see that he has a wound, the way he's walking, he's limping, and they understand he has a wound, so they're not going to be choishesh that he's hiding some other shoe, that he's holding it under his garment and he looks like he's carrying on Shabbos. Or people are, even if they're going to mock him, as Rashi brought in the Mishnah, the other reason why a person shouldn't go out with one shoe, so this person won't care. He's not going to take off this one shoe because people are mocking him if he's going to get hurt. He wants to protect the wound that he has. Alma kasavar. So what do we see here? The way Rav Huna interprets the Mishnah, he holds sandal l'shum tsar ovid. The person is wearing the sandal, he's wearing the shoe or the sandal just to protect himself from the pain that he might have walking without a shoe when he has a wound on his foot. Chiyeh barav Omar. Chiyeh barav learned the pshat differently in the Mishnah. Ba'oisa she'ein ba makeh. That he puts the shoe on the foot that does not have a makeh. The foot that has a makeh, he can't wear the shoe on it. But the foot that does not have the makeh, so he puts on the shoe in order to be comfortable, be able to walk comfortably with the foot that he's able to put into a shoe. Al mekasavar. So according to Rav Chiyeh Barav's opinion, what do we see? What is the purpose of the shoe? L'shem tainag of it. He's wearing the shoe not to protect himself, not to protect the makeh that he has. On the contrary, the foot that has the makeh, he can't put the shoe into. The foot that does not have the makeh, he wears the shoe for pleasure, so he could walk comfortably. V'zu sheyesh ba makeh makasa machachas aleha. And then the other foot that has the makeh, so that makes it clear to everybody. People see that the other foot, he doesn't wear the shoe because it has a makeh. And therefore, like I mentioned before, people understand what he's doing. They're not going to be chayshish that he's carrying the other shoe on Shabbos. And people also won't mock him. They see that he has a makeh on his other foot. So we have over two interpretations in the Mishnah. When the person puts on these sandals, is he putting on the sandals to protect his wound, to be able to walk? Otherwise he'll have pain. Or is he putting on the shoe or the sandal on the foot that's healthy, and he's putting it on for pleasure to be able to walk comfortably, and the other foot that has the makeh, he does not wear the shoe on it. We can see from the following incident that Rav Yochanan, that is, also agrees to what Rav Huna said, that a person puts the shoe on the foot that has the makeh to protect himself to be able to walk. Rav Yochanan said to Rav Shemen bar Abba, Havli misanoi, give me my shoe. Yov lei di yamin. Rav Shemen bar Abba gave him his right shoe to put on first. Amalei, so Rav Yochanan commented to Rav Shemen bar Abba, asise makeh. So now you made this foot, this right foot is now going to be, people are going to think that I have a makeh. What's pshat? What happened over here? So as we'll see in the Hemshech of the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan's opinion is that you're supposed to put on the left shoe first. So if you would have given him the left shoe, you would put on the left shoe, and then he'd put on his right shoe, and he could wear both of his shoes. But now that he gave him only the right shoe, so he's going to put on his right shoe first, and once he puts on his right shoe first, he's not going to put on his left shoe afterwards. So therefore Rabbi Yochanan said to Rav Shemen bar Abba, asise makeh. My right foot now is, people are going to say, oh, I have a makeh, that's why I'm wearing the shoe on the right foot to protect it from to protect the wound on the foot. So what do we see over here? what's Rabbi Yochanan saying? He's wearing his right shoe to protect his right foot that has a makkah, like Rav Huna said. Fragt the Gemara, maybe you have to interpret what Rabbi Yochanan said a bit differently. But maybe what he's saying also fits with what Rav Chia bar Rav said. And this is what he's telling Shimon bar Abba. Sisa shall smile makkah. Now that I'm only going to be wearing the right shoe on the right foot for comfort, now the right foot, the left foot that is going to be a foot of a makkah. People are going to say that I'm not wearing a shoe on the left foot because there's a makkah on my left foot and I can't wear a shoe there. I could only wear it on my right foot for comfort. So in the comment of Rabbi Yochanan, we can't determine what foot he was saying has a makkah. Was he saying his right foot has a makkah now that he's only wearing a shoe on his right foot? So the shoe is to protect the wound. Or is his left foot the foot with the wound, and he's wearing the shoe on the right foot for comfort, and the right and the left foot that is exposed and it can't be worn because of the makkah. Now the Gemara continues and explains this concept of putting on the left shoe before the right shoe, which was the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Was the Rabbi Yochanan that made this comment that once he puts on the right shoe first, he's not going to put on the left shoe afterwards. He follows his opinion. Just like with tefillin, same as also with shoes. Tefillin b'smoil, just like when it comes with tefillin, we put on the tefillin on the left hand. Af min olin b'smoil. So too with shoes, we put on the shoes on the left foot first. So we give, usually actually, the halacha is that the right is always more chashuv, more than the left. B'negei to all mitzvahs, b'negei to everything, the right is more chashuv. Over here specifically, b'negei to putting on the shoes, we compare it to tefillin, and just like the tefillin is put on the left hand, so too the shoes are put on first on the left foot. This was Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. Meisvei, so the Gemara asks a contradiction on this from a Braisa. Keshehu noyel, when a person puts on his shoes, noyel shall yamin, he puts on the right shoe first, v'achakach noyel shall smile, and only afterwards does he put on the left shoe. So clearly we see that we give the chshivas to the right, like it always is, that you always put on the right first when a person gets dressed and so on, so you put on the right first and then the left. Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef says, hashte de tanya hachi. Since we learned in a Braisa to put on the right shoe first. Vam Rav Yochanan hachi. And Rav Yochanan said to put on the left shoe first. The avad hachi aved, with the avad hachi aved. If you do this way, it's okay. If you put on the right shoe first, it's good. And if you put on the left shoe first, it's also good. So Rav Yochanan, his minig was, he would always put on the left shoe first, to follow the way it is with tefillin. In the Braisa it says to put on the right shoe first because of the chshivas of the right, and you can do either way. And as Taisus over here says, that if a person has one custom, you should follow that custom, you should do it the same way all the time, not just one or the other. So Rav Yochanan, he always would put on the left shoe first. Sagt die Gemara weiter, Omar le Abaye, but Abaye said, no, we can't say that there's a contradiction here from the Braisa, and therefore you can do either way. Dilma, Rabbi Yochanan hamas nita lo yavashmiele. Perhaps Rabbi Yochanan didn't see or hear this Braisa, and therefore v'yavashmiele, if he would have heard or seen this Braisa, have a hadebe. He would have retracted from his opinion to put on the left shoe first. He would have followed what it said in the Braisa to put on the right shoe first. Or we could say, V'inami shmiele ukesavar, or perhaps he did hear of this Braisa, ukesavar en halacha kaisa Mishnah. And he holds that we don't paskin like this Mishnah or like this Braisa. So, how do we know to conclude that you can do either way? Maybe Rabbi Yochanan had a source of another Braisa, and then we have this Braisa, we have two Braisas, you can do either way. Who says? Maybe this is the only Braisa that we have to follow, and Rabbi Yochanan didn't hear of it. Or maybe Rabbi Yochanan knew of this Braisa, but he held you don't paskin like this Braisa. So therefore, he doesn't accept this resolution here that you can do either way. Sagt die Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman by Yitzchak, Yirei Shamayim Yetze Yidei Shteyen. Or Yirei Shamayim will be Yetze both. We'll do both the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan said to put on the left shoe first, and what it said in the Braisa to put on the right shoe first. The Manu Mar Berei de Ravana. Mar Berei de Ravana would do as follows. Heichi Ovid, what would he do? Sayim the Yemine, he would put on his right shoe first, Veloi Kotar, and he wouldn't tie the laces, and then Vesayim the Smoli, Then he would put on the left shoe, v'kotar, and he would tie the left shoe first, and v'hada kata the yaminai. And then he would tie the right shoe first. So this is, of course, the minig, the way it's brought in Shulchan Aruch, the way we do it, that first putting on the right shoe, then the left shoe, but we tie the left shoe first. And as Taisus here explains, if we're trying to be yaitze both opinions, maybe you would think you could also do it the opposite. Put on your left shoe first, then the right shoe, and tie your right shoe first. You're just trying to be makdim the left and right. Left by putting on the left first, and the right by tying it first. So Taisa says, no, you can't do it the other way around. And the reason is because the whole idea of being makdim the left is because of the tefillin. And the tefillin we tie on our hands. And therefore over here, where you're being yaitze both opinions, we put on the right shoe first, and we tie the left shoe first. So two interesting things to mention regarding this Gemara. One is that Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch says that this halacha of tying the left first is not only regarding a shoe, it's also regarding, the Alter Rebbe there talks about kind of socks that's worn, that also has some kind of a drawstrings or straps that you tie it with, that you should also do it the same way. Put on your right sock first, then your left sock, and then tie the left sock. That's one detail. Interesting. The other poskim disagree. There are other poskim that say that this whole idea to connect the tefillin to the shoes, why are we giving the chshivas to tying the shoes in connection to tefillin and not other garments, is because it's connected to a drasha the Gemara says. By Avraham Avinu, he said, he didn't want to take anything from the king of Zdaim after the war over there that the Torah describes in Parshas Lech Lecha. And the Gemara says, b'schar this, that he said, michut, he didn't want to take even a chut nal, not even a shoelace. What was he going to take? He relied only on the Eibishter. So therefore, he was zeicha, his children got the mitzvah of tefillin, to tie the tefillin. So therefore we see that the lace of the shoe is related to the tefillin. The schus of the tefillin comes so that Avraham Avinu didn't take the lace of the shoe. That's why this is an Inyan dafke benegeh to the shoes to do like the tefillin. But lav dafke by other clothing or other things that you tie. The Alter Rebbe, though, as I mentioned in Shulchan Aruch, says that this is not only by shoes, it's also by socks or other things that you tie. Another interesting thing is benegeh to a lefty. A left-handed person, how does he put on he puts on his tefillin on his right arm. So he ties it on the right arm, so l'chayre you should put on his shoes the other way around as well. Just like the tefillin. Okay, sagt the Gemara weiter. Omer Rav Ashi says, Chazina, Rav Kahana, I saw when Rav Kahana put on his shoes, the loy kapit. He was not particular what he put on first, what he put on second. There's a chshivas to the left, there's a chshivas to the right, and he wasn't particular. Sagt the Gemara weiter, Tan Rabbanon, we learned in a Braise, Keshehu Noyel, when a person puts on his shoes, Noyel shall yamin vachkach Noyel shall smoil. First you put on the right, and then the left. Keshehu Chaylitz, when you remove your shoes, Chaylitz shall smoil, vachakach Chaylitz shall yamin. You take off the left, and then you take off the right, because we want to give chshivas to the right. So you're getting dressed, you put on the right first. When you're removing your clothing, so you remove the right last. That's giving chshivas to the right. Same thing is also keshehu roichetz. And by the way, what it says here about getting dressed, of course, applies not only to the shoes, but it's also to clothing. You put on the right sleeve first, and then the left sleeve. You remove your left sleeve first, and then the right sleeve, and so on. And from the Gemara before, we see from Rabbi Yochanan that when he got the right shoe first, he didn't want to put on his left shoe, that a person, if you did it wrong, perhaps you should take off your shoe. If you put on your left shoe first and you're not following the minig, the way the maskana over here it says that you should be yaitze both days, so you should take off your shoe and put back on the right shoe first and do it the way the Gemara says to do it. Okay, I remember many years ago, about 15, 20 years ago, there was this story going around. It was publicized then. There was a helicopter crash in north of Eretz Yisrael, and many soldiers unfortunately died. And there was one soldier that was part of the group, but was delayed and didn't make it on, and he didn't die in that crash. And the story was he was tying his boots and he put it on the wrong way, and he wanted to get it right and do it the way it says in Shulchan Aruch. And because of that, he ended up being delayed. He missed the flight and he saved his life. As I remember this story going around then. Let's go right into Gemara. Same thing is also when a person washes himself. Keshehu roichetz, roichetz shall yamin, v'achkach roichetz shall smoil. You wash the right side of your body and then you wash the left. Keshehu sach, if you are anointing yourself, sach shall yamin, anoint your right hand, v'achkach shall smoil, and then the left hand. Always giving the chshivas to the right first. V'araitze lasach kol gufay. if you're anointing your entire body, you begin with the head, and then you go to the rest of the body. And I guess the same would apply also to a person that's showering, that you wash your head first. The head is the most choshev, it's the king of the rest of the body, and therefore you wash the head first. Sagt the Gemara weiter, it said in the Mishnah, you should not go out on Shabbos wearing tefillin, because the concern is you might come and take it off and carry it into the Rishus Harabim. So the Gemara explains, Amar Rav Safra, Leiteme, do not say the pshat over here is, so Aliba demanda Omar, that this is following the opinion that says, Shabbos lavs man tefillin. Shabbos, you're not obligated to wearing tefillin. And therefore the Mishnah is saying, do not go out wearing tefillin. We're not going only according to that opinion. We're not going according to that opinion it is. Ela fila lemanda Omar, Shabbos man tefillin, even the opinion that says that Shabbos is a time of wearing tefillin, Lo yetze, you should not go out on Shabbos with your tefillin, because you may take them off and carry them in the Rishus Harabim. That's the pshat in the Mishnah over here. Okay, so this is a machlokes. I mean, of course, today we don't put on tefillin on Shabbos. We paskin like the opinion that this Shabbos is not as man tefillin. But the Gemara is explaining is that this Mishnah here is going even according to the Mandama that says that Shabbos is as man tefillin, but he might take it off his head and then carry it al dambas b'rishus harabim. And Rashi explains, for example, if a person has to use the bathroom, those times they go to the outhouses and he takes off his tefillin and he might come to carry it. Sagt the Gemara weiter, v'iked masni la seifa. There are others that said that the statement of Rav Safra goes on the end of the Mishnah. What does it say in the end of the Mishnah? V'im yatsa, in all these cases that the Mishnah mentioned over here, including tefillin, if you go out with them in Rishus Harabim on Shabbos, ein a chayiv chatas. It's not, you're not chayiv min ha-Torah, it's only a ism midrabanan because you might come to carry it. So on this, on Rav Safra said the fact that you're only over midrabanan and you're not being over min ha-Torah, don't say that this is true. Only according to the one that holds that Shabbos is as man tefillin. So since it's as man tefillin, so therefore you're wearing it as a garment. It's the time when you're obligated to wear tefillin as well. So therefore it's a garment, and you're not oivim in ha-Torah. You're only oivim in the Rabbanan because you might remove it in the Rabbanan's gzeira. Ela fil man da'ama Shabbos lavs man tefillinu. Even the opinion that says that Shabbos is not the time to wear tefillin, yet ein a chayiv chatas. If you wear it on Shabbos, you're not obligated to wear it, but if you wear it on Shabbos and you walk out with it, you're not chayiv chatas. My time it derech malbush avida. You're wearing it the same like you wear all week. You're wearing it like a garment. You're mechuyev to wear the tefillin like a garment, and therefore, even if you wear it on Shabbos when there's no chayiv to wear the tefillin, you're not going to be over min ha-Torah. You see from this Gemara that according to the Mandama that says that you don't put on tefillin on Shabbos, which we paskin according to him, that it doesn't mean that it's usher to put on tefillin. You're still allowed to put on the tefillin. That's what it comes out l'chayda from this Gemara. It's a big discussion, Rishonim and Achrayim, about this, but the bottom line is that we paskin today that we don't put on the tefillin on Shabbos. It's also to put on the tefillin on Shabbos, and it may even be muktzeh to move the tefillin on Shabbos because it's separated and we don't use it on Shabbos at all. Sagt the Gemara weiter, the next thing it said in the Mishnah was v'loi b'kameya b'zman she'enim min ha-mumche. You can't walk out with an amulet on Shabbos that's not made by an expert. So the Gemara here is going to get into the details of this kameya. How do we ascertain that this kameya is made from a mumche? The Gemara is going to go into a lot of different nitty-gritty details regarding this kameya here. Sagt the Gemara, Rav Papa says pshat in the Mishnah, Loi teime, do not learn pshat in the Mishnah, ad mumche gavra. That the case here is that the person that made this kameya, we know that he's an expert. The person is a mumche. Mumche kameya. And also the kameya itself is a mumche. Meaning, when does a person himself become a mumche? If he made 3 kameyas and it was used 3 times, so we know that he's a mumche. And Rashi says either he made 3 kameyas for one person and it healed him 3 different times, so we see that that he's a mumche, or he made a kameya for 3 different people 3 different times and he healed 3 different sicknesses, so now we know he's a mumche for all sicknesses. So that would be mumche gavra, whether he's a mumche for making this particular kameya or he's a mumche for making any kind of kameya. And mumche, that's mumche gavra. Mumche kameya means that the kameya itself that the person is wearing now has already worked 3 times. This kameya we know works. That's not the pshat in the Mishnah. That's not the only time that you can walk out with a kameya, that it comes from a gavra, which is a mumcha, and this actual kameya was already used 3 times. Elo, kivin the mumcha gavra, as long as this kameya was made by a person that's an expert, afagav the lav mumcha kameya, even if this particular kameya was not even used yet. It was made by this person, but it wasn't even used once yet. It's still okay to walk out with it on Shabbos. It's the only time you're not allowed to walk out is if the gavra that made it is not a mumcha. Teikanami, if you look closely at the words of the Mishnah, you can see this. The Ktani, since it says in the Mishnah, "V'loi b'kameya," do not go out with a kameya on Shabbos. Bisman she'enoi min hamumcha. If it doesn't come from a person that's an expert, min. It says min hamumcha, meaning from the individual that made it is not an expert. V'loi katani bisman she'enoi mumcha. It doesn't say in the Mishnah that you don't walk out with it when the kameya itself is not a proven kameya. It's not referring to the kameya itself, it's referring to the person that made the kameya. As long as the person that made the kameya is a mumcha, you can walk out with it on Shabbos. Shema mino, so we clearly see that this is the pshat of the Mishnah. Ton Rabbanon. Now the Gemara brings more details regarding this halacha. So it says in a braisa, Eizeu kameya mumcha. What is considered to be an expert kameya? Bisman kol sheripo v'shana v'sholish. If this kameya healed once, twice, and a 3rd time. Echad kameya shel ksav. We're talking over here both about a kameya that has writings in it. Echad kameya shel ikrin. Or whether you're talking about a kameya that has some other kinds of herbs inside. That is the power of the kameya. Echad chayle sheyesh bei sakana. Whether we're talking about a chayle that has a sakana that's using this kameya, he's allowed to wear it on Shabbos. Ve'echad chayle she'ein bei sakana. Or whether it's a chayle that does not have any sakana, is allowed to wear it on Shabbos. Loi shenichbe, and it's not only an individual that's nichbe, that's already falling, meaning he's already sick, someone that's akaleptic and he falls, not only using a kameya to heal a person that's sick, ela shelo yichbe, even if it's just for a preventive measure, that a person shouldn't get sick, you can use this kameya as well. You can tie it and untie it even while you're in the Rishus Harabim on Shabbos, and we're not afraid that the person's going to carry it, because this is not something that's usually tied and untied. People don't usually take it off to show it to anybody, so therefore we're not concerned he's going to come to carry it. The only way you're not allowed to wear this kameya is if you tie it to a band, you tie it to a bracelet, ubitabas, you tie it to your ring, and that's the way you go out with it in the Rishus Harabim, because then it looks like you're wearing it as a piece of jewelry, and then that the gzeira of Chazal not to wear jewelry in the Rishus Harabim applies. So therefore you're not allowed to walk out with it that way in the Rishus Harabim. That's the conclusion of this braisa. So the Gemara is going to focus on the first part of this braisa. What did it say? A kameya that you healed 3 times, the same person. In other words, the same sickness. It was the same sickness, the same person had healed 3 times. That's a kameya, that's a mumcha, and you can walk out with it on Shabbos. Fragt the Gemara, but for Tanya, we learned in another braisa, Eizeu kameya mumcha. What's considered to be a kameya mumcha? Kol sheripa gimel b'nei adam ke'echad. If you healed 3 different people. So over here it says 3 people. It actually seems like Rashi is not guided the word ke'echad. Rashi just says gimel b'nei yadam. That the Gemara's question is, before we said as long as you use a kameya even to heal the same person once, twice, and a 3rd time, it's a good kameya. And over here it says gimel b'nei yadam. You use the kameya to heal 3 people. So the Gemara answers like kasha. It's not a question. Before we were talking about over here we're talking about that we want to be sure that this person is a mumcha, meaning that this person healed with his kameya 3 different people. The assumption is if it's 3 different people, it was 3 different sicknesses. If this person is an expert to make a kameya for 3 different sicknesses, so now we know that this gavra is not just a mumcha to make one type of kameya, but he's a mumcha to make a kameya for any type of sickness. So now if this person makes any type of kameya, it could be used to walk out on Shabbos. He's a mumcha for any sickness. That's the second braisa. Gimel b'nei Adam, to ascertain that the gavra is a mumcha for any sickness. And the first braisa was speaking about to be sure that this kameya that's being used now, that this kameya works. Because this gavra made a kameya that worked 3 times, so we know that this kameya works, and if this person makes particularly this type of kameya, then you can walk out with it on Shabbos. But we still don't know that the person, if he makes any kameya for any type of sickness, that we can trust him, because he only made one type of kameya for one person, for one type of sickness. That's the difference between the two braises. Omer Rav Papa. So now Rav Papa gets into more details, explaining exactly to what extent we can rely on a kameya to be able to walk out with it on Shabbos. So Rav Papa said, Pshitali, it's obvious to me, tlas kameya, if there are three different kameyas, letlas gavri, that were made for three different people. In other words, for three different sicknesses. Tlasa zimna, and they were each used 3 times. So every kameya was used for 3 different sicknesses. Whether one person got sick with 3 different sicknesses, or each one of these 3 people are sick with different sicknesses, and each kameya was used 3 times for 3 different sicknesses. So then, is smachik gavra, we have proven that this individual making these kameyas is an expert to make a kameya for any sickness. Vismachi kameya. And we have also proven that these kameyas have worked 3 times, so each of these kameyas could be used to walk out with them on Shabbos. Another case, tlasi kameya litlasi gavra. If you have 3 kameyas that were made to use for 3 different people, chad zimna. Each kameya was used only 1 time and it was successful. So gavra ismachi, the individual that made the kameyas, so now we've found out that he's an expert, because the kameya that he made for 3 different sicknesses, each one of them worked. It's 3 times it worked, so therefore we know that this person can make a kameya for any sickness. But kameya lo yismachi, the actual kameya itself was only used once for each sickness, and therefore it is not yet ascertained that it's for sure good to work and to go out with it on Shabbos. Chad kameya letlasa gavri, if this individual made 1 kameya for 3 different sicknesses, for 3 different people, and the kameya was used for 3 different people for 3 different sicknesses, kameya esmachi. So we see that, again, let me repeat that again. Chad kameya litlasa gavri, you have 1 kameya that's used for 3 different people, for litlasa gavri, but as Rashi explains over here, the case is that it's for 1 sickness. Okay, that's the pshat. So you have 1 kameya that was used for 3 different people for the same sickness. Kameya esmachi, so this kameya that was used 3 times for the same sickness, but we see now that this kameya works for this sickness, so therefore the kameya is good to be used. But gavra lo yismachi, that we haven't ascertained that the person is an expert to making any kind of kameya, because he only made 1 kameya that worked for 1 sickness 3 times. So those things, these 4 cases over here, or how many cases do we have? 3 or 4 cases over here are clear. That's not a question. By Rav Papa, however, Rav Papa had a question in the following case. Tlasa kameya, if you had 3 different kameyas, and they were made l'chad gavra. They were made all for the same person. Okay, so you have the same person, and he got sick with 3 different sicknesses, and you have 3 different kameyas that was used for the 3 sicknesses of this individual. So what's going to be the halacha over here? Kameya vadai lo yismachi. So the kameya is, each kameya is definitely not ascertained to be working 3 times, because each kameya was only used once for 1 sickness. So the kameya for sure, we don't know that it's working 3 times. The question, however, is, gavre ismachi oiloi. Do I say that this person, as now we see now that he's an expert, or not? Should we say ismachi oiloi ismachi? Again, gavre ismachi oiloi ismachi. This person, do we know that he's an expert or not? Mi amrinon, shall we say ha'asilei? He healed 3 different sicknesses by the same person with 3 different kameyas. So we see that this person has the power to make 3 different types of kameyas for 3 different sicknesses. So why should it be different than the case that we said before? When a person makes a kameya for 3 sicknesses and they all work, so we know that he's an expert to make any kameya for any sickness. However, perhaps we could say, maybe because he taka healed 3 different sicknesses with 3 different kameyas, but all healing the same person. So maybe there's a mazel, as Rashi says, there's a special malach that this person has that's accepting the power of this kameya to heal him. So lav dafka, it's a proof, benegayet, to this person that made the kameyas, that he has the ability to heal from any sickness. If you look back to the Braisa that the Gemara brought in the beginning of the Amud here, so it spoke about a mumche that's ripa gimel b'nei adam. So in the Braise it mentioned that you have an expert that made 3 kameyas and healed 3 different sicknesses of 3 different people. So over there we see clearly that he's a mumche. Not only does he make 3 different kameyas for three different sicknesses, but 3 different people. But over here, when it's a kameya that's healing 3 different sicknesses, but it's the same person, perhaps the reason why it's working is because the malach of this person accepts this kameya. Lav dafke, it proves the person that makes the kameya that he's an expert to heal any sickness in any person. So teiku, the Gemara does not resolve this suffix. Okay, that concludes this section of the Gemara regarding all the details of how and when the kameya could be relied on. Now the Gemara has another related shayla on these kameyas. Kameyin yesh ben mishum kedusha. A kameya, does it have a status of kedusha, of holiness, that you have to save it? As Gemara will say in a moment, what's the nafkamina of this kedusha here? Does it have this kedusha? Or it does not have any holiness. As Rashi explains, that these kameyas are, Rashi doesn't bring it over here, but it's explained that the kameyas have psukim written in it, could even be the name of the Eibishter written in it. So therefore the question is, are you allowed to save it on Shabbos, as we'll see right now? Let's learn the Gemara inside. What's the question over here regarding the holiness of the kameya? Is the question whether you're allowed to save a kameya from a fire on Shabbos. So why not? Toshema. Why yes, that is, sorry. Toshema. So we learned later, it says, ha-brachas va-kameyin, if you have brachas, let's say brachas of Shmoyne Esrei, that are written on a piece of paper, on a tablet, va-kameyin, and also it says clearly regarding kameyin, although there's holy letters in it, and it has different sections and parts of Torah in it, you're not allowed to go and save them from the fire on Shabbos. You have to leave it there. And it gets burnt in its place. So that's not what our question is. That it says clearly. Our question is regarding geniza. Does it have to be hidden under the ground and give it the proper respect like we do with all shemus? Toshemam. So the answer is what we learned. If you have the name of the Eibishter that's written on a handle of a keli, valkaria mitter, or on the leg of a bed, you're good, you cut it off, and you have to hide it, and you have to put it away, just like all other shemus. So over here as well, if there is the Eibishter's name in it, if it has a part of Torah written in this kameya, so then the same halacha should apply. Why should it be any worse than having a pasuk or the Eibishter's name written on a handle of a keli? Ella, rather, our question is, likonis behem bebeis hakisei. Are you allowed to carry this kameya with you and walk into a beis hakisei? Mai. Yesh bem kedusha, it has holiness that you have to remove it. V'aser, aydilme ein bem kedusha, it does not have that level of holiness. V'shari, and you're allowed to walk in with it into a beis v'shari. You're allowed to walk into a beis hakisei with it. Toshema, so the Gemara says, it says in the Braise, v'loi b'kameya bezman she'enim min hamumche. Sorry, this is not the Braise, this is actually our Mishnah. The Mishnah says that a person should not walk out into the Reshus HaRabim with a kameya that's not made from an expert. Ha min hamumche, but as we have learned before, if the kameya is from an expert, nafik, you're allowed to go out with it on Shabbos into the Reshus HaRabim. If you're going to say that a kameya has kedusha and you can't walk with it into a bathroom, so if so, why should you be allowed to walk out with this on Shabbos? Zimnin the mitzrich lebeis hakisei. Perhaps he'll have to use the bathroom and he'll remove the kameya. Va'asi le'asinu daladamis b'reshus harabim. He may come to carry daladamis on Shabbos in the Reshus HaRabim. Similar to what we said in the Mishnah regarding a woman that has to go to the mikveh and she removes certain garments and she might end up carrying it. Why don't we say the same thing with the kameya if you say that you have to take it off to go into the bathroom? And for the Gemara, our Mishnah is talking about a kameya that's made of herbs, not a kameya that you have writings in it that could have the name of the Eibishter or psukim from Torah in it. Frag the Gemara, but what Tanya we learned in the Braise as was quoted before, echad kameya shel ksav, echad kameya shel ikrin, whether the kameya has writings in it and even whether the kameya has herbs in it. So we see our Mishnah is speaking about a kameya that has writings in it, and still it allows you to go out into the Reshus HaRabim on Shabbos. So the assumption is that we're not afraid that he's going to walk, that he's going to have to take it off when he walks into the bathroom. We must say our Mishnah is talking about it. We could say our Mishnah is talking about b'chayla sheyesh b'sakana. The reason why he's allowed to wear it is because he's a chayla sheyesh b'sakana, and therefore he's allowed to walk into the bathroom with it because of pekuach nefesh. Fragt the Gemara, but Vatanya, didn't we learn in the Braisa that we quoted before? Echad chayla sheyesh b'sakana, v'echad chayla she'en b'sakana. That the kamei in our Mishnah, you're allowed to walk out with it on Shabbos, whether you're a chayla that's in danger, and even a chayla that's not in danger. So that's not what we're talking about over here. Only a chayla that's in danger. Ella, says the Gemara, Kivin the Masi, since this kamei heals this person, Afal Gav, the Nokat Le Biyade, even when he holds the kameya in his hands, Shapir Dami, he's allowed to walk out with this kameya even while he's holding it in his hands. This kameya that he's holding in his hands is like an accessory that the person holds. It's like a piece of jewelry, Rashi says, or here it's an accessory that this person is accustomed to wearing this kameya, and therefore the kameya is allowed to be you can walk out with it on Shabbos even while you're carrying it in your hand. So there's no concern that he's going to remove it and hold it in his hands when he's going to go to the bathroom, because he's allowed to hold it in his hands. Fragt the Gemara, is this true? But Vatanya, we learned in the Braisa, it says in the Mishnah you can go out with a kameya. That's if you're wearing it like a garment, but not if you're holding it in your hands. So he clearly says you're not allowed to hold it in your hands on Shabbos. In the Rosh Hashanah. Elo, so the Gemara gives a different answer. In our Mishnah, the kameya is covered in it's covered in a leather covering, and therefore you're allowed to go out with it on Shabbos because he's not going to have to take it off when he goes into the bathroom. But otherwise, he won't be allowed to go out with the kameya. Fragt the Gemara, v'hari tefillin, the mechupa oir. Tefillin are also covered in the backs of the tefillin. The parshias of the tefillin are covered. The Tanya, and it says in the Braisa, nichnas lebeisa kisech chayletz tefillin berachak arbamis. You're going into the bathroom. You learned this in the Gemara in Brachas. You have to remove your tefillin 4 amas before you come into the bathroom. V'nichnas, and then you enter into the bathroom. So although the parshias are covered and they're inside the tefillin, you still have to remove it. So why wouldn't the same apply over here to the kameya, that even if it's covered with a leather that covers it, still you should have to remove it before you go into the bathroom, and then you shouldn't. So if so, you shouldn't be allowed to carry it into the Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos. And for the Gemara, tefillin is different. Hasa mishum shin. The reason you have to remove your tefillin is not because of the parshias inside the tefillin; it's because of the shin that's outside in the backs of the shalosh. The Amar Abaya, Shin shel tefillin, halacha l'Moshe miSinai. The shin of the tefillin is a halacha l'Moshe miSinai, and therefore you have to remove it before you go into the bathroom. V'amar Abaya, dalet shel tefillin halacha l'Moshe miSinai. The dalet of the tefillin is also halacha l'Moshe miSinai. This is the dalet in the tzura of the kesher of the shel roish as a tzura of a dalet. And also, V'amar Abaye, Yud shel tefillin, the shape of the Yud and the shel Yad that's made in the Ritzu is made in the shape of a Yud, is also halacha l'Moshe miSinai, making up the name of the Eibush, Shin, Dalet, and Yud. This is a halacha l'Moshe miSinai. So over there, the reason you have to remove your tefillin before you go into the bathroom is because of the name of the Eibush that's on the outside. But Benegeya to the amulet, the conclusion of the Gemara is that you're only allowed to walk out with it in the Rosh Hashanah if it has the writings of the Eibush's name or any other psukim of Torah, if it's wrapped in a oir. Then you don't have to take it off when you go into the bathroom. But otherwise, you're going to have to take it off and when you go into the bathroom, and therefore you're not allowed to walk out with it into the Rosh Hashanah because you might come to carry it. Okay, that's the end of the Gemara today. A good day, everybody. Atzlacha Rabbah and everything you do.